Welcome back to the Tiberium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about how Hasbro and Mattel need their retail partners. They have so many of these direct-to-consumer fails, and I'm going to go over some very specific instances of these direct-to-consumer fails, but I also want to talk about how they need their retail and online partners now more than ever. I'm going to cite some examples that are mostly Hasbro related, so we will talk about Mattel Creations, but with this, there's a lot of blunders that they've made along the way. Hopefully they learn from them. They probably won't. We'll talk about this some more coming up. Before we get into this, I want to talk about HasLab and Mattel Creations. I think that HasLab is good for large projects that would never get accepted to retail. There's no retail partner, there's no online partner. BBTS isn't going to want to take this on for $500 a pop or whatever. And so it's good. These projects, these are one-off, big, gigantic projects that could not be sustained at retail. I'm okay with that. These are not fails. This is a success. And then Mattel Creations and their Eternia. That is something... so many people can't get their mind around the fact that this would never, under any circumstances, ever even be considered at retail in modern day. I mean, who wants to lose $3, $4, $5 million over a project like this? No company wants to do that. Companies are here to make money. They're in the business of making money. And so with that, they definitely made money on this, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm more excited for this playset than I can think of any other playset. The only other playset that excited me this much is the Bionic 6 headquarters. And, you know, I've had that for a while. So this is super ultra exciting, and I've got more updates coming for this. But this is something that would have never been at retail. That's where a direct-to-consumer is good and thrives. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to the direct-to-consumer from Mattel Creations. And so there's less of the screw-ups from Mattel Creations because they have less products. That's all there is to it. Really, the only difference between Hasbro and Mattel when it comes to these direct-to-consumer is the fact that they've done less of it. And Hasbro's done way more and opened themselves up to more issues. Now, this 4-pack. In my mind, the only reason I bought one of the Origins figures, and now a whole bunch of them, I'm not 100%, but I've got a lot of them, is because they were $15. It was a good value play. At $15, it's definitely a value. At $19 or $18, $19 where it is now, it's less of a value. And when it comes to something like this, in my mind, when I first saw this, I said, yep, that's $60 for the figures. 4 times 15. And then they'll probably have a little premium on it for $80. But when they came out with a price of $150, that was an epic fail. That wasn't a fail. That was an epic fail. Now, some people bought this and love it and all that kind of stuff. But the vast majority of collectors, like 90% of them, didn't buy it because it's still up for sale. As most exclusives sell out in 30 seconds to 30 minutes, this thing's here, what, 3 months later? Most recently, we had this Space Sumo fail. Now, there's a lot of stuff surrounding this. First of all, this is a small kind of a niche type of a group of people that want the Sunman. But everybody that's collecting He-Man's probably picked up 1 or 2 of the Sunman figures just to check it out. And even the original Sunman, the Sunman figure itself was an exclusive to Mattel Creations and is sold out. But this is a fail. And almost an epic fail. Because this thing is $18 plus 7 shipping plus tax. So you're looking at $26, $27 for this one figure. For a $15 figure, which you can argue price point. I got some proof about price point here in a second. But this could have been one of the 4 of a wave. So there's 4 figures in a wave. This could be one of the one-off 4th figures and brought it to retail. They could have joined the retail partners. But this is going to sit on Mattel Creations till what? Till I die? Because there's already a 3-pack at retail, at Target, with one of their retail partners that has this figure. Only the mint and package collectors, which I am one, and I would want this, not for this price. I'm expecting some sort of a sale, clearance sale, in like 2024. And that's when I'll pick it up. Or if I miss it, I don't care. But so with this, this is a fail because of the fact that they could have made it retail. Or they could have not made it at all, but I don't understand why they're not doing something consistent. It's a very massive inconsistency when you make weird things exclusive. Now, I want to talk about the direct-to-consumer fail on Koldar. Koldar is a fail because nobody knew this was coming. Nobody knew what it was. And yet, here it goes. It pops up for sale. I was going to buy a few of them, but it sold out a little bit too fast. I wasn't urgent about this enough. And now, after the fact, I kind of want it. But how much sales are they losing by not putting it back out? And if this was a mainline release, they're probably worried nobody knows who it is. But now we all do. Nobody knows who it is, so it wouldn't sell at mainline with the retail partners. But this is a very sought after figure. So maybe Mattel sitting back and going, yeah, we're going to create hype over a handful of figures that nobody's going to have. And then they're going to buy everything else that we put out. But that's been squashed because there's multiple figures that haven't sold out yet. This Koldar needs to get reissued. But I view this as a direct-to-consumer fail because they didn't make enough. And when it comes to profits, they're not making very many profits if they do not satisfy demand. Let's quickly get into Hasbro, and with their crowdfunding of this Sky Striker, I view this as a fail or a missed opportunity. First of all, this should have been at retail, number one. And they should have made, instead of $30,000, $100,000 a year and changed it up a little bit each year and those kinds of things. I believe that this should never have been a HasLab bundle project. I back two of them because it's the only way to get it, but it takes it out of kids' hands. It takes it out of retail, takes it to where secondary market has gone wild for the older versions of the probably lesser models of this Sky Striker. So there's so many negatives to making what should have been a retail item a HasLab. I'll state that all day long. Sticking with G.I. Joe, I want to say one of the massive direct-to-consumer fails is this O-ring line. They have failed us on the O-ring line. So figures that should have been 10, 12, 15 at the most are now $21 or $22 on their site. And you have to buy two at once. And unless you have the premium pulse, I bought two sets so I could have one to open, one to keep sealed, that kind of stuff. $94. I mean, that outprices most collectors. Most collectors aren't in 3.75 inch O-ring figures for modern versions that aren't even vintage for $94 for two sets. That's ridiculous pricing, and direct to consumer, they're trying to make some sort of profit while they do this. Maybe they're making massive profits, but if they could have brought this to retail, which, by the way, they could have, no problem whatsoever, they could have brought this to retail. But when they bring this to retail, they could have made much higher quantities and brought the price down to $12, $13, $14, which is still a lot, in my opinion, but much better than $21 or $22. So the fail in this, the big fail, when it comes to the O-ring line, is the fact that they have done two things. They had to ultra clearance the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and now they don't have them back up, which is really stupid because they had a maximum order quantity of two. I ordered those two, and when they put them on clearance, I couldn't order two more. That was so stupid. That is just ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. But now we have this Duke and Cobra Commander, and guess what? They're at BBTS. BBTS is now taking this on because Hasbro Pulse couldn't sell it. They couldn't push their own product themselves. They have to bring in a retail partner, an online retail partner, and they couldn't do it without BBTS stepping up to the game. I don't know the details beyond this, but I think it's kind of silly that they avoid retail like Walmart and Target with these, because they'd sell like hotcakes. Staying in line with G.I. Joe, and the same exact feeling I have with the Sky Striker. This figure at $80 is not a bad price, but had they included Walmart, Target, all the retailers, and brought this thing to $60 and produced double, triple, quadruple the quantity, they would have, A, Hasbro would have made more money, and B, collectors would have been happier, and C, retailers would have been happier with the overall line. See, Classified is performing extremely poorly at retail right now because it's still clogged up with 2020, 2021 movie figures. So with that, something that actually sells showing up at the store would have been nice. Same thing about Mindbender. It makes no sense. My mind is bent and twisted over why they make these exclusives, and they can't satisfy demand. And maybe they don't want to. They want to keep an artificial, some sort of artificial scarcity going on. Well, you know what? That just makes more collectors jump ship and stop collecting the whole line. So I want to say another fail is this whole Star Wars retro situation. So with this, they have put out Wave 1 again. And they should have done this better with their retail support. They sent it to Target. Target put them in the men's clothing department, not the toy aisle. There were so many fails with this from day one. It was hard to get. Now you can get it from them. Guess what? You can just go order it right now. It's in stock, and it'll probably be in stock for a long time. I like the retro collection to a point, but I'm conflicted because all the people that work so hard to collect vintage, now you're just going to get it handed to you, but you're not going to get it all. There's no chance you're going to get it all. They've already shown their hand. They will never make all 92 of the figures, 93 of the figures. So they've shown that hand. If you wanted a man-to-man vintage, you're not going to get it. If you want all these other ones that are harder to find, you're not going to get it. So that's just the way it is. But this is one of those things. It's a fail. It's a fail on their behalf. They will not be able to distribute the small quantity they've actually remade of these on their site in a reasonable time frame. This will go on sale. The next blunder that I want to say, this is a big blunder on Hasbro's behalf, is starting lineup. They overpriced these figures. So they're making $30 figures for $50. Now there's argument and discussion back and forth. Is this because of the fact that you got to pay the license for the individual and you have to pay for the Nike swoosh and all this? And so there's so many things to overcome that they didn't have to overcome back in the 90s whenever they made starting lineup originally. But $50 figures that are really $30 figures or $25 figures. So it's really double the price. So they couldn't sell these on their site by themselves. They couldn't do it. They failed. Guess what? BBTS to the rescue, right? So now you can order these on BBTS right now. So you can go to BBTS, you can order these or pre-order them or whatever and get them through BBTS instead of through Pulse because Hasbro couldn't swing it on their own. They need their retail partners. They need their online partners. They can't do it themselves. They seem to think they can. So I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I was waiting for more examples. And I know between now and a year from now, I'll have 5 or 6 more examples just like this to show that Hasbro and Mattel need their retail partners to survive and to succeed. And direct-to-consumer is only for the big giant projects. These tiny little exclusives are a big waste of our time, their time, and of course our money. I want to hear what you guys think about this. What do you guys see as epic fails or minor fails for the direct-to-consumer on the Hasbro Pulse and the Mattel Creation sites? I want to hear about this because I need more of these examples. I'll make another video similar to this probably in 6 months. And the thing is, we need to see this stuff at retail for a reasonable price, and that's what I want. And aside from that, we're going to wait for the sales and the clearance. Although retail is clearancing out a lot of stuff right now, that itself isn't that big of a deal. It's part of the cycle. It's how things go. It's just the way things work and the way things operate at retail. You keep it there for so long, then you put it on clearance, and then you put the new product out once that sells. And that's just the way things go. And I think we're kind of getting back to normal. For a while there, we didn't see anything on clearance in 2020. 2021, there was a little bit. 2022, it's massive. 2023 might be the best year for clearance ever. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. Like, subscribe to Dear Hanger.